We're going to continue with our coverage. It's time for our book review segment. And for this one, we can obviously try to spotlight relationships. As you know, it can be beautiful, but they can also be complicated if we make them. Communication, trust, vulnerability, emotional safety. It's often easier said than done. But in her new offering, Intimate You, Your Relationship Pocketbook, author Mapaseka Mokwele offers practical guidance on building stronger, healthier, and just more honest relationships, from navigating conflict, perhaps to understanding love languages, and in protecting the invisible, emotional safety. She's going to join us further to chat a little bit further. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this was apt, and we needed this in this, what you mentioned, this fast-paced society that we find ourselves in. Thank you for this, Mapaseka. I found it deeply personal, but also practical. And it's pocket size. Yes. So you can refer to this. So this play on it, I mean, the inspiration behind it, listening to everyone's stories and your own journey. Just perhaps give us some context as to why you wrote it.
So, you know, it's different people's journeys put together. I coach. Yes. And part of my coaching journey is listening to these stories and trying to work through different stories and different emotions that people go through, and emotional safety and all the issues that we talk about here as things that are actually real life issues that we go through every day, but for some reason are made to sound so high level that it's difficult for us to navigate. And I just thought, maybe let's just simplify it, because it really isn't as complicated as it's made out to be.
Well, you started at the very beginning, and that is the foundation. That is chapter 1 as well. So securing that solid foundation, being aligned as well. Tell us how, through communication, trust, honesty, vulnerability is fostered through that.
You know, and I look at 4 pillars throughout the whole book. And that, for me, I'll take it back there, for example, as a start. I talk about choice, honesty, intention, and awareness. And those, for me, are a start of knowing and understanding who you are, and therefore leading into the next relationship. Because remember, for you to get into a relationship, you need to know yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest challenge with a lot of people. So I always say this book is a mirror. It literally is a mirror of who you are going into a relationship and who you want to be stepping into this relationship. So if you understand more of who you are, and you understand more about your choices that you make, you understand about how, in fact, if you are honest about yourself, and be honest about yourself is such a difficult thing for a lot of people, you know, being intentional about life, and also awareness. You really need to know what triggers you, what drives you, what pushes you, what really grinds you up the wrong way, and understand all of that.
And that's how you teach people how to treat you, which is also linked to the chapter on love languages.
That's it.
And I mean, you obviously outline what this means, because I can love you the way I think you need to be loved, vis-a-vis what it actually means for you to feel acknowledged, understood, seen, and heard.
So, and that's the biggest challenge when it comes to love languages. Remember, we are all very different.
Yes.
And how I want to be loved is not necessarily how you want to be loved. So it's important for me to understand how you want to be loved, so that I know how to love you. How I want to be loved is for you to understand, so that you know how to love me. But we tend to make the mistake of loving people the way we want to be loved. And then we wonder why they don't appreciate it. And we kind of feel like, but you know, you're not appreciating the love I'm giving you, but you're not giving me the love that I need. You're giving me the love that you need.
It's a hard pill to swallow, because I think we've all been guilty of that as well.
So true.
Even active listening, that's so important, because that's how you are able to resolve conflict. And you get to learn how to fight well. And I don't know if that's the correct term to use, but that's it, because it is about managing and how well you can fight back, right? But in a respectful manner that honors both individuals' dignity.
You see, I think the other thing about fighting, we've been made to believe that fighting is so bad.
Yes.
But conflict is not bad for a relationship. Fighting is actually good for a relationship. You get to understand each other better. The point is to love and fight in kindness. So if you are kind, even in your fighting, if you're fighting your partner and your point is not to hurt them, but the point is to understand them, then it comes out differently. And if I'm talking to you kindly and I say to you, but this is how this made me feel, and then I can listen to you because I care and I love you, then I can listen to how you are feeling and how it makes you feel. It's different to just coming out and thinking, I'm listening just so enough so that I can just get in there and give you the answer you need and bash you. Then that's not a relationship.
It's like listening to understand, not to reply.
That's exactly it.
I want to get into the point about having space in one's togetherness. Because I mean, you're individuals. You're growing apart. You're growing in your own spheres. You're in your own lane. But obviously, you have to grow together as well. It's so busy, making time to juggle all of these hats as well, so that there's layers and depth, and you're still communicating and connecting.
Yeah.
That was heartfelt. Tell us a little bit more about how you navigate that chapter in this modern day and age.
You know, when we get into relationships, we often expect a 50-50 for starters, right?
Yes.
We give different things at different time. Therefore, there will be an 80-20, there'll be 70-30. There's different spaces that we are able to give differently.
Yes.
And this comes to who I am at that point in my life, what I need at that point in my life. If you are my partner, the one trick to it is to be with a person that is actually your friend, to be with somebody you like. Not only somebody you love, but somebody you actually like, somebody that you would want to spend time with, because then it doesn't feel like having to navigate being with them. You are navigating everything else, but not being with them.
Yes.
You see, that's the one thing.
Yes.
And also realizing that growth in love is actually beneficial to both of you. It's very important that I grow and you grow, but my growth cannot hinder yours, and yours should never hinder mine. So I should be able to grow and still be myself, and you are able to do the same without competition or worrying about the next person. Now, it also then means when we're in a relationship, we are not two wholes coming together and there's nothing else that you can do. Too much of anything is boring for anyone. So it's like I always say, consider a Venn diagram. Remember, take it back to school.
I agree with you. Thank you.
Take it back to school.
Trip down memory lane.
So if you consider a Venn diagram, there's that little piece in the middle where you are actually together, and that's where you live together. Everything of yours is together, but you actually have a life, and your partner also has a life. It's important. You don't die as soon as you meet somebody or get married to someone. Life does not end because you're now in love. Life actually starts again and it blossoms, and you can do that together.
And everyone around you benefits from that love that's been released as well. But also that brings you to the point about emotional baggage that comes from previous relationships and having to deal with that. So time's running out. So tell us a little bit more about that chapter. And then in conclusion, for people reading this, ultimately, what do you want them to walk away with as they carry this handbook?
Okay. So the emotional baggage, just a quick example. Imagine walking around with a bag like with bricks. Every relationship, and I'm talking friendships, relationships with your siblings, everything that's gone wrong, that's a brick that you're putting in your bag and you're carrying over your shoulder every day. That's going to be heavy. Put it down and live. It's as simple as that. Put it down and live. Yes, you learn from the experiences, but you don't have to carry them with you into everything that you do. You learn and you move. So you can put them down and you move. But what I hope that people will learn from this is to be able to love themselves, for starters. Because if you can love yourself, then you can actually extend it to the next person. And you can find the book. Can I please tell them where to find the book?
Where do we find it? And also, I mean, if you're going to have book sessions and just questions, because it's so highly practical. There's a lot of concepts that, it, requires people to also engage a little bit more with you.
Yes. Definitely. On my website, www.mapasekamokwele.com. The book is there. It's 200 Rand, and I send it anywhere in the country. So we will send it there. You just order it there, and you can definitely get it. I will be having sessions, different sessions going around different parts of the country, I'm hoping. But I'll make sure that everything is on my socials, Mapaseka Mokwele, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X as well. And I'll make sure that everything is on my website as well.
Okay, and I'm hoping it can be translated into other languages, because I know sometimes nuances get lost in translation, if that's a call to action for you.
That's actually something I'd love to do.
Perfect. All right, the work continues this morning. Relationships, as you heard, requires intention, patience, and constant growth. So in this offering, Intimate You, your relationship pocketbook, literally, Mapaseka Mokwele reminds us how love is not just about feelings, it's about understanding, communication, commitment at large. Again, thank you to her for joining us for our book review segment this morning. Let's quickly take an ad break and be right back after this.